Was there? Hey guys, it's Dr. G. I wanted to give you guys what I feel like is an important gift, and that is 20 ways that you can begin to de stress your life. As a functional medicine physician and a family doctor for a long time, what I see is one of the primary issues in folks' lives is that they get this buildup of stress, their cortisol level goes up, and they cannot relax. And that's essential to let the body heal. And so no matter why you found yourself here, I hope that these are going to give you some ideas for how you can begin to really change your life and de-stress. All right. So, and this is 20 ways to de-stress. Let me go ahead and find my little. All right. So first, let's start with some of the big basics, and that is developing mental clarity and using your mindset because the brain has huge control over all of our biological processes. And if you can understand this, then you are going to be able to manage things better. The first thing that's an easy thing to implement, and this is a great time of year, right? I'm doing this first video, right, at the almost the beginning of 2025. But practicing gratitude journaling is something that's been shown to decrease depression, and just as simple as taking a journal and writing 3 things that you're thankful for. And, one important aspect of becoming the person that you're meant to be to bring your gifts to the world is adopting a growth mindset. We When we beat up on ourselves, it creates an environment where we are linking ourselves to what we feel are our deficiencies instead of recognizing that when we screw up, it's great because that's part of our journey towards better, right? No one is perfect, and we all have to be able to grow and give ourselves room to grow. And when you think of all these famous inventors, how many times did they fail before the light bulb was invented? I mean, there were so many failures before that actually happened, and you have to go through the failures. So we have to be willing to fall on our face and go, jump right back up and go, all right, that was try number one. That was try number two. And we keep trying and know we can get better. Um, Even if we're not good at a certain skill or something, we keep trying. One interesting statistic is that for people who want to stop smoking, the more times they try, the more likely it is that they will stop smoking. Okay, so adopting a growth mindset is very important. Setting clear boundaries. You know your priorities. You know what's meaningful to you and what makes sense in your life. And you want to draw the line, right? And maybe with people that don't lift you up. You are an amalgam of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time, right? So, how are they lifting you up and how are they making you feel good about yourself and helping you grow? One thing I appreciate so much about my husband is that he sets the bar way high, right? Oh my gosh, that guy, he gets up early every morning. Every morning he before he goes to work, and he leaves like before 8. He's exercised, he's meditated, he's journaled, he's practiced his Spanish, although I think now he's practicing music, which I love. Um, but he had at any rate, he has his priorities, and me being around him, it helps me to be able to surround myself with people that are going to take me higher. Um, so all that's to say is that decide what's important to you, and if things do not align with your values, we all need to learn to say no. There's been times in my life when I've been a yes person, like I'd say yes to everything. You got to set some boundaries, right? The next one is so important. Mindfulness meditation. You guys, now when we're looking at the research that's coming out about how meditation can change your biology, understand that if you are meditating daily, you are creating a pharmacy within yourself that is going to allow your body to start to heal. And look at the research from Joe Dispenza, from the Inner Science Research Fund, because they are looking at blood markers, urine markers, EEGs of people who are meditating regularly and can show clear before and after pictures that shows it changes your biology. And this can bring cortisol down. It can make your whole day better, especially if you combine that mindfulness meditation along with visualizing your ideal day. And in the morning, this is something I suggest we do very intentionally, and that is to take a moment and say, what do I want today to look like? What will be what would make my day amazing if at the end of it, when I lay my head on the pillow, I could say, that happened, that happened. And if you can begin to look at it in that way. What is the thing that will make your day perfect? And so let's go over these 5 tips for using mindset and mental clarity to improve your day. Gratitude journaling, growth mindset, clear boundaries that are meaningful for you. Surrounding yourself with, and as an aside, surrounding for yourself with people that are meaningful, that challenge you, and not everybody who's if you're surrounding yourself with people that are not moving forward in their lives and don't reflect the values that you want to reflect, might be time to switch things up. Mindfulness meditation, along with visualizing your ideal day. So let's talk about, in terms of the physical, how we can change things up. And, as a functional medicine physician and a family doctor, these are more important, I would say, than the medications you take. If you can dial these things in, your stress will go down, and you're going to find that, well, a lot of your body systems start to work better. All right. So, what are these? I mean, the most powerful medication you can give besides meditation is exercise. Exercise turns on all things good in terms of metabolism, your body's ability to de-stress, and that is also the right amount of exercise. We can't over-exercise, but um, walking is a great thing to do for everyone across the lifespan. And now I feel like resistance training is right up there too, because this helps us maintain muscle mass, and it is a marker for longevity. Of course, sleep also a marker for longevity. If you're not sleeping, golly, got to find a way to get you sleeping. And oftentimes, when we add in regular exercise, this can help with sleep. We want to eat for energy, whole food, plant-based diet, avoiding processed foods, seriously avoiding processed foods, because now the more we understand about processed foods and how they affect not just the fact that they got sugar and carbs in them, which too much of those things can be problematic, but also things like emulsifiers and food dyes, these affect and pesticides, these affect our gut buddies, our microbiome. And so avoiding processed foods and eating for energy is really important. Those of us who grew up in that time of, in the 80s when they told us not to eat any fat. I'm serious. I think I ate, like 10 grams of fat over a decade in the 80s, because my doctor and my nursing school at that time, and then my medical school, they all told me to eat low fat. But you know what, guys? You must have fat. So if you're my age and you think that you should eat no fat, that's been debunked. And now we need healthy fats as an important part, because fats make up all your membranes. Half of your brain is fat. They're the precursors of all of the different hormones. So fat is important. And if you're wondering what kind of fat, extra virgin olive oil is like a medicinal 3 tablespoons a day. You can drizzle it on stuff, make sure it is organic, and then cooking with avocado oil. It's very safe for high heat. You don't want to cook with olive oil because it makes it so the fats change into something that's not as healthy. So eating for energy, getting plenty of good fats in your diet. So what's next? Deep breathing exercises. This has been shown to calm your nervous system and also to lower your blood pressure in a good way, not to take it down below normal, but to help with improving blood pressure. And it also can help you de-stress. Everybody, hopefully, You've seen me do the relaxation response where you take a breath in, and the top of that normal breath, you take two short sniffs in, and then relax like this. And that's how you can maintain your cool at your holiday table. um, Taking breaks. It's important that throughout the day, you take a moment. And I'd say if we could take a minute to breathe every hour throughout the day, it's going to keep our cortisol level lower and it's going to help you recharge so you won't feel as tired at the end of the day. Also, exercise snacks. If y'all see me doing exercise snack, right? Exercise snacks can be a way that you can get just a hot minute of exercise and make a huge difference in your life. So just to those are the basics of taking care of yourself, guys. This is self care: exercise, sleep, eating for energy, good breathing through our nose, not our mouth, because because when we breathe through our mouth, like we would if we were panting, that signals to the sympathetic nervous system arousal and fight or flight, and we want to get into rest and digest, and that's breathing through the nose can do that. And take breaks throughout your day. All right, so moving on to the next. Um, let's talk about simplification of your life. Are there ways that you can create space? Because space is a blessing. And it's funny. My brother Rusty, he told me that like if something goes out of his schedule, and this is a few years ago. Hopefully, this is not still true. But when something goes out of his schedule, it's like creates a vacuum that sucks something back into the schedule. So the free time you make, we want to keep some of that free time, right? Especially if you're feeling overloaded. So, how can we simplify both our time and our environment? I love the idea of decluttering. And, decluttering is something that can be easy. It can be hard, right? Sometimes there's sentimental stuff like, how do you get rid Right? I remember I kept, like, a tin of spices that were my mom's, and I think I ended up giving them to my niece, Krista, right? I'm like, "This was Peggy's, this was mom's spice," but finally, I realized, what I couldn't use that spice anymore. It was 20 years old. I'm sure it was full of all kinds of toxins at that point, right? Whatever's had leached in from the tin can. But when we look at something, we ask ourselves, do I love this? Right? Do I love this? Do I need it? And if you don't absolutely love it and you don't absolutely need it, a strategy is to take a box and put things away for a few months. See if you really need them, and if not, let them go. If you do release things, remember they'll probably, if you take it to the thrift store, somebody's going to give it a good home. And if you give it away, maybe 10% of the things you give away later on, you'll go, doggone it, I wish I still had that. But it's so freeing. And you can start with a very small space, right? Maybe you want to do something like this in the year 2025. 5 things a day. Find 5 things in your house that you can just let go of. Start a bag that's going to go to Goodwill or go to the thrift store and start to do that thing of decluttering. I paid somebody a lot of money to help me declutter an area in my room, and it was amazing. And what they did, she came along and she's like, "Okay, where are we starting?" Which I loved. And she took me to she's like, "What about that bookshelf?" And we looked at this bookshelf and she said, "All right, we're taking everything off of the bookshelf." And she's like, "Okay, we're only putting back things you absolutely want, things you'll use, and things that's the right place for, right? That you love, that you'll use, and that's the right place." So it's key. And so the things that were not in the right place, after we took them off, we did not put them back there, right? We took them where they went and only kept the things that were right for that space. And it was such a freeing event. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about in terms of simplifying your life is time blocking. So, time blocking is where you plan your day with focus periods for built-in breaks and tasks. And people are much more efficient when they are working on a schedule. Maybe you're working for 60 to 90 minutes at a time, and the way that our bodies and our brains work best is if you take short breaks, and if you time block, you're more likely to be efficient and also get in what you want to schedule. The next thing is so important: delegating or automating tasks. Now, if you're like me, and one time my friend told me I had control issues. He was right, and at that point, I'm like, "What? Who, me? Control issues? No, no, it couldn't be." Well, I think my family might have told me that younger. Hopefully, I don't have them as much now, but we're all working on stuff, right? But delegation and automating tasks that you do over and over, guys, technology is there to help you. And I hear a lot of people talking down technology. They want to stay old school. I think that's fine if you have time for it. But if you want to be highly productive, we need to find a way to offload things that are not those A-level activities that help you move your life forward in the direction you want to go. And that can mean things like paying someone to help you clean your home once a week, right? I mean, that it can free up all kinds of time. And are you worth that? Well, how much time are you worth when you're working? So what if you could work, a few hours when somebody else is taking care of the home, especially if it's something you don't dig. I mean, there are times when I really like to clean, and I use it as a procrastination tactic. So that's not good. So I'm not advocating that. But delegating, automating tasks can be very helpful. And create a weekly plan. What do you need to get done this week? Right? What is it? And, don't make it such a big list that you can't do it. And then you feel like, oh, heck, I failed. Right? Make it so it's doable, manageable, and you have a time limit on it. Digital detox is another way. I think reducing the clutter in your brain. Sometimes too many episodes of The Crown can get in the way of life, right? um, all right, so going to the next bunch of suggestions here. This is our last 5 for how you can start to de-stress. Um, let's talk about emotional support and connection. This is something that to have a community or some way that you can have access to somebody who will support you, who kind of gets you and understands you, or to find a way to develop that self-compassion for yourself can be really, really big. So, having a person you trust is so important, whether it's a friend, a family member, a therapist, or a furry friend. I mean, I do think that furry friends recently got a furry friend, got a dog named Luna. She listens really well to me. So your friend might be your kitty cat. If it's just a pet, though, the only issue is the pet can't chat back to you. And if you're needing that support and connection, doing some of these other things can be very helpful. Joining a support group that might have a similar perspective, similar challenges, so that you can, see what you're going through different eyes. That can be helpful. And when you're having a challenging time, self-compassion and being kind to yourself and not beating up on yourself is really important. And there can be books that can help you with self-compassion. I love the idea of reconnecting with hobbies. And, there are some activities in your life that you've let go of that used to bring joy, relaxation, happiness. I mean, I think that as we get older, we know what brings us joy, and we've got to find a way to get that back into our lives. When I think of high school, what brought me joy? Well, that was being active. It was playing basketball, and those kind of things. We think that they're out of our lives, but they can come back into our lives. We just have to act with intention. Reconnecting with hobbies that you once loved can be a wonderful way for you just to emotionally support yourself because it brings joy. And then, of course, reaching out to others volunteering, making a difference in others' lives, that can help reduce depression. When you feel like you're giving of your heart and your hands to help other people, this can make a huge difference in how your day goes. So I would say that uh, no matter what is going on in your life, there's something here on these in this list that can be helpful. So what I'm going to do is where I've posted this video, I will put this list also in the comments. It's not there yet, but I will put it in the comments. And go ahead wherever you are, uh, give me a little heart. If you think that this could be helpful, share it with somebody else, this video. And I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day.